laws, notarization and affidavits, wills and trust. Give them a call today, 416-213-8600. Are you looking for reliable immigration services? If yes, contact Sukhi Paul at 647-296-4575 or office phone number 905-790-8877. They are located at 219-220 at 7956 Torban Road. It's right at the intersection of Torban Road and Steeles Avenue West. Contact them for all kind of visa services. Are you the breadwinner for your family? Have you ever considered if something were to happen to you, what would happen to your wife, to your children, to your parents? If not, this is the time to call Kamaljeet Bola at 647-772-1481. She is an amazing insurance advisor working with Beyond Care Insurance Solutions in Brampton, Ontario. Find out what best you can do your family while you can. Do not put this thing off till tomorrow. This could be very, very critical for your family's future. Are you thinking of a career change or adding another one to your portfolio? Well, you are thinking right. Call Sarabjit Luddar at 416-879-3039 from Beyond Care Insurance Solutions. She also deals in life, long-term, travel, critical illness, disability insurance. Give her a call today at 416-879-3039. This is what we can tell you. She will always give you the right advice and help you find out if being an insurance advisor is your piece of cake. Are you thinking to sell your home and are concerned about depreciating values? Don't be. You are in safe hands with Paul Chima. Call me at 647-333-2273. I ensure safety of your home with electronic lock boxes. Nobody can enter your house without permission from our brokerage, and we provide full detail if needed at any point in time. Once again, Paul Chima, 647-333-2273. Better call Paul and get moving. Do you want to shop right without burning your pockets? If yes, please visit Monisha Discount Warehouse at 377 Burnhamthorpe Road, East Mississauga, Ontario. They are the best. They have all kind of Indian, Pakistani and other local stuff that you can buy at literally throwaway prices. Contact them at 905-361-0773. Monisha Discount Warehouse. D.P. Jain is a well-known name in the fields of accounting. You can contact him today at his cell number 416-305-0080 or his office number 905-790-9327. Once you start working with him, you will never want to leave him. He is 5-star professional. Call him today. D.P. Jain Professional Corporation. PC24 RE-TV is heard over so many different channels. If you want to promote your business for free, call me at 647-333-2273. You can also send your artwork to contact@paulchima.com. We are here to be partners in your business success. 647-333-2273. PC24 RE-TV ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਮੁੜ ਤੋਂ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਐਬਟਸਫੋਰਡ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਕੋਲੰਬੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਸੂਰਾ ਨਾਲ। ਬੜੇ ਸੀਜ਼ਨਡ ਰੀਅਲਟਰ ਹੈ ਜੀ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ। ਇਫ ਯੂ ਨੀਡ ਐਨੀ ਐਡਵਾਈਸ for any property in British Columbia, feel free to give him a call. His number is shown on the screen. It is 778-999-1531 778-999-1531. If I ask Mr. Sura to say his phone number in Punjabi, I very much doubt that he would be able to do that.
778 999 a few more times and I'll learn it, right? So this is the thing. When I was growing up, I really liked learning languages and I can learn them quite quickly. Someone someone has to be sort of always speaking it, right? That's how we learn is by speaking. I did not learn how to read or write, but one day at a time, one day at a time.
There was
Um,
a guy and he said to other person, "Do you know Punjabi?" He said, "Yes, I know Punjabi."
mm,
He said, "I can only
mhm,
write Punjabi, but I cannot read it." He said, "Okay, write it." So he scribbles some
uh-huh,
lines and says, "What did you
yeah,
write?" He said, "I don't know. You
I
read
don't
it."
know.
I've done my
That's
part.
funny. Wow.
Okay, so why should people move to British Columbia? What's so amazing about that place?
Basically, in a couple of sentences,
Yeah.
um, it's the most underdeveloped part of Canada and in the Western world,
Mm-hmm.
meaning there is still a vast scope of
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. So, for example, I mean, Toronto at the present time, you've seen the type of density that's happened, right?
Oh,
You're
we are
seeing tall
crazy
towers.
dense.
Yeah, so you've seen the urban sprawl happening. The
Yeah.
highways and the byways are connecting people in a reasonably appropriate manner. Now,
Yeah.
with British Columbia, they thought that it would never reach such a high demand, so there's still a little bit of a struggle with the infrastructure projects. It's rolling out slowly. However, there's still vast room for growth. The
Mm-hmm.
amount of growth is because there's available land in order to upzone. Okay, so when I
Mm-hmm.
say upzone, what do I mean by upzone? Well, when they look at the densification of some neighborhoods,
Mm-hmm.
some of those areas are quite underzoned.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they're underzoned, go to the city and say, okay, guys, well, we want to help see this, right? So
So they have a lot
as
of
you
scope for the density of the population.
Oh, 100%. And then the climate, we don't receive as much snow or blizzard-like conditions as other parts of Canada.
Yeah.
However, in the last little while, we have been seeing some considerable changes. That might be something to do with whatever the whatever's going on in the world at the present time. As you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, there's different strategies put out there in order to change change what's going on. So regardless of that, we've seen a different kind of climate over the last 2 or 3 years. Lots of snow in the winter month.
Mm-hmm.
However, we also have spring, autumn, and summer,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we have good seasons. We have 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So people have the ability to have more outdoor enjoyment,
Okay.
right? So parks and trails are popular. Like when I put myself back in India, for example, when I did some work there,
Mm-hmm.
and I noticed how the families did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to see that on the 1 day per week or 2 days per week that they had off,
Mm-hmm.
they would often go for what they call a long drive. Have you heard the term long drive?
Yes.
ओके सो लॉन्ग ड्राइव में जाना है अब अभी पार्क में जाके पिकनिक करेगा
जी.
पूरा एंजॉयमेंट करेगा that demographic of that sort of earning capacity from India or other
Mm-hmm.
parts of the world are now coming here
Mm-hmm.
over the next 5 to 10 years and they're attracted to having the outdoor enjoyment quite a bit more than anything else. I mean, and then if you look at the pollution levels in other
Mm-hmm.
parts of the world, when you look at British Columbia, you want fresh air, you're going to open the window. You
Yes.
want fresh air, breathe that in. You go to
Yes.
other parts of the world, close your windows. I mean, I lived in Dubai for many years, and when there's a windstorm,
Mm-hmm.
forget about it. Close your windows. Don't
Mm-hmm.
drive. Right? India, Mumbai, especially. You know, if you get a foggy outlook, um, it's very polluted. It's dense. Massive amounts of people generating different wastes across, a smaller area.
Yes.
BC or Canada being so vast,
Mm-hmm.
over the years has been just developed small areas across the border, near the border crossing. However, with the still available opportunities of land,
Mm-hmm.
they're able to expand a little bit more. So I think the longer range forecast for Canada as a whole is positive. British Columbia more so because of the climate.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, for example, if we talk to local Canadians, like the
Yeah.
youths that are growing up now, they may think, okay, well, I want to go and experience life in Nova Scotia for 3 years. I'll take a job there and I'll go there and I'll
Mm-hmm.
set myself up um, to get myself into the property market. Whatever it is,
Yeah.
there's a vast amount of opportunity everywhere. I have some young nephews who engage and they buy, they buy properties in Alberta,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they do that on a continuous basis. Because they have a vision, and
Mm-hmm.
um, because that opportunity was not available locally here, they've got to go elsewhere in order to mobilize themselves into the real estate world.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they've grown well, they'll continue that portfolio aspect of growth in BC or Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
or they might say, okay, let's take an opportunity in another North American city in the USA. Who knows? So
Yeah.
I hope that answers your questions. Why BC? BC, there's two meanings of British Columbia, BBC, right? Beautiful British Columbia,
Mm-hmm.
or bring cash.
BBC has one more meaning, but I won't talk about that. So
British
it's
broadcasting, yeah, yeah,
so
British
the
broadcasting.
land transfer tax in BC are higher than in Ontario.
Yes.
For a $200,000 property, just for an example,
Hmm.
British Columbia has 2000 land transfer tax, while
Correct.
Ontario has 1725. But if you're buying in Toronto, city of Toronto, or metro area of Toronto, then you are paying additional 1725, which is a municipal land transfer tax. That
Okay.
makes it around $34.50 for a single property of $200,000. The funny thing is the lowest land transfer tax. Make a guess which province has the lowest or territory.
Manitoba. Oh, sorry, Alberta.
Alberta. But
Yeah.
there is one territory that has the lowest land transfer tax, which is Yukon.
Yukon. Oh, wow.
For $200,000 property, you are only paying $73.
That's
For
interesting.
Alberta, you are paying $90.
Mm-hmm.
For BC, you are paying 2,000. Manitoba is 1,650. New Brunswick is $1,000, still better.
So
Newfoundland
now,
and Labrador, 898. Northwest Territory, it is $300. Let's go there. Prince Edward Island is $2,000. Quebec, same as Ontario, 1750. No, $25 more, not same. And Saskatchewan is $600. The lowest is Yukon, then
mm-hmm.
is Alberta, then comes Nunavut and Northwest Territory. They are in a tie. Then you move on to New Brunswick. Then you go to next lowest will be Manitoba. Moving over to Ontario, then Quebec, then British Columbia. This is how the sequence is.
So what you're saying is there's plenty, there are opportunities and ways people can own real estate in Canada.
They can, but because people, uh, they have to make sure if they buy investment property, there should be enough tenants around. It should
Mm.
be rented out. But I guess the population of these places where the land transfer tax is lowest may be very small. And you have to buy more or less all cash perhaps,
Mm.
because banks sometimes they have a criteria of minimum population of $50,000, or people should be living within 1 or 2 hours of major metro areas to qualify for the mortgage. But I don't know, I have no idea about those areas. Just an afterthought. So how is your market moving? Are you guys excited for another jump in the interest rates? Are you waiting for it?
I wouldn't say many people are excited. I think they just want to they want to see the last nail in the coffin, right? And then say, okay, like, okay, we this is what we're dealing with. Because the projection is by the end of the year that should be back down to 3%, right? The
Yeah.
what the Bank of Canada is announcing each time, and every time they come online and publicize their directives, they're saying that this is what we will achieve by the end of the year.
Hmm.
And most people are saying, okay, do it, right? Let's see the result now at the end of the year. Put your money where your mouth is. I mean, they were the ones that got everybody into this situation to start with.
Yeah.
So whether or not anyone's excited, some people might think, okay, yeah, we're cash rich at the present time. Can we afford the 2 years or 4 years of high interest rate that we sign up to on a fixed, um, in order to benefit on the low price point,
Hmm.
right? So some investors have to do their math backward and say, all right, well, it's only for 4 years. It's only for 2 years.
Yeah.
Um, and then the new homeowners that are coming to the table, the first time home buyers or the people that are getting away from rental into buying a home, they're getting into the market not for just 1 year.
Hmm.
They will see a fruitful result in 5 or 10 years. Look at all the graphs and models and the stats.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, there's going to be a dip, right? Have we reached the bottom of the dip? I don't know. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. However, if we look at the past 10 years, for example, there's
Hmm.
been many different corrections, but it comes back up,
Yeah.
right? And not everybody wants to be on on a real estate investor type acquisition or purchase. You're only going to find a handful of people who are engaging in that kind of activity because it is high risk, as
Hmm.
we have witnessed over this last year. People were emotionally triggered and buying for the sake of feeling that they're missing out. They made
Yeah,
some transaction, and those decisions are going to face, face a consequence of 5-year recovery.
yeah. Well, this is
So,
a fantastic. I think I personally like BC. It's greener than Ontario, at least. Right? We are cities of stones and brick. Most of we have those kind of parks, building parks. We're building after
mm,
building after building, and you don't get to see enough of nature. I like nature. I guess everyone likes nature, but it's only the job scenario that pushes them to a province. I'm not sure
would you move?
how the job market is or the education is in British Columbia, because those are also major factors people consider when they make a move,
Yes,
right? Quality of education, affordability of education, kind of amenities available to the residents. So those things are also a major deciding factor when people think of relocating. So work and kids, it has to be in
100%.
sync.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
only
that's
know
why you'll see.
UBC and how many
Mhm.
institutions are there. I have no idea the quality of education. Can you pull out some information about best schools in your area or any area where people would like to move to? I use an institution's website called Fraser Institute. They create a report card on schools. I guess during our next broadcast, we should
Yes.
be talking more about schools, educational level, and how people have become successful studying from those educational institutions. What kids can, accomplish once they are in those institutions. So that I think if you make a note of it, we'll be talking more about schooling and work, how much jobs are available, and all those kind of statistical information. I think those things will be a good deciding factor, something to begin with before they
Hmm.
start their plans of moving. House
Sure.
prices will
Exactly.
come after that,
Hmm.
right? I don't think people move with a view to buy a house. They move to find a job first. Then comes their children's education. Once they're settled, then they start thinking about buying a house. So, anyways, awesome information. But let me tell you this: with the rates increase, many families, or let's say households, are reaching a tipping point where they can just fall off the home ownership. We call them vulnerable people. And most of the lending institutions, they're tight-lipped about sharing that number. So recently, Scotia Bank, its new president and CEO, Scott Thompson, he said that about 20,000 borrowers are very vulnerable. So other banks are also using some kind of techniques to project households cash flow. They're using AI, some other algorithms, and trying to keep an eye on those people. I don't know what they will do with the keeping an eye. What does it really mean by keeping an eye? Will they call their employer and say, hey, increase his salary because he is becoming vulnerable? So,
Hmm.
so 20,000 Scotiabank people are actually 2.5% of their total mortgage portfolio. This is when he announced it. And RBC is keeping a close eye. They are looking at income, they are looking at stress of inflation on expenses, in a household, and they are monitoring cash flow to interest payments like in any corporation. So this is what's going on. We do that for every single consumer in our portfolio because over 80% of our clients have their core checking and core cash management with us, says RBC. So this is where people are being monitored. They're using different kind of models to predict how will they tackle these vulnerable people, what they will do. So I don't see many homeowners in a good position. 20,000 is a big number. Won't you agree?
It's a substantial number. Um,
Yeah, it may be 2.5% for them, but 20,000 is a huge number.
yeah, I think they really need to engage the institutions and write them a letter to say that they're in distress.
Yeah,
This is something. It's all well and fair when they announce that RBC or Scotiabank has made billions in the first or 2 or 3 quarters. That's
yeah,
all well and good. Um, let's have a look at how much of a grace period that they will give people who are in dire straits, right? So
yeah.
it's important. I mean, you can't you can't. I don't think you milk your cow once, right? And then you don't kill the cow.
Yeah.
How is it going to
So
work?
they're trying to do certain things to assist these borrowers before they're
Mm,
pushed to a point where they have to sell their house. So, like skip a payment deferral. If you skip a
hmm
payment, mortgage moves 1 month forward. You have maturity extensions if they have to before the client thinks of selling the house. And the cash flow challenges, in addition to a collateral problem, where the sale of property wouldn't cover their mortgage and could result in default. It's a much smaller group, but one the bank is actively monitoring. So there are people who, even if they sell their house today, will not be able to pay their mortgage debt. So we are looking at those things. But right now, the good thing is the mortgage arrears, they are at record lows for the time being. So this is all about our program that I want to share today with our viewers. And thank you very much, Amrit. Amrit, I started bringing my old videos just to, reminisce about how we developed over time. PC24. So
Okay.
I have this screen from, let me bring it on up here. Which number is that? Is this it? I hope so. Let me know if you don't hear the audio. So I'm going to bring it here. So this was, are you looking at it? Okay, let me turn your audio on because it automatically closes your audio when you're taken out. Yeah, I can hear you now.
I can hear you too.
Alrighty. So this was the initial days of my broadcast. If you look at this, you see this little square in the middle?
It remained there.
It would remain there because camera was autofocusing.
Oh
And I
wow,
had so much struggle clearing that out.
wow.
It won't go away. So it's like when you are taking a picture, the live
Yeah.
screen on your camera show you this particular scare move wherever your face goes, right?
Well, at least that part of that technology does work.
Yeah.
But
So
you've adapted and grown, and you've got the knowledge. Things have moved forward really well.
yeah, so this episode, I will fix the date here. It wasn't January 3rd episode. This was, I'm going to fix the date. This was February 10, 2021. So this was when it was broadcast, and the audio, you will love the audio. ਅੱਜ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਚੰਗੀ ਕੋਟ ਹੈ, ਮੇਰੇ ਦਿਲ ਨੂੰ ਲੱਗੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਪਸੰਦ ਆਏ। ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜੀ, what lies and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So what lies behind us, what lies ahead of us or before us are tiny matters compared to what lies when I'm moving within this us. Scale so this is where the whole because it's trying to track me. ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਕੋਟ ਹੈਨਰੀ ਸਟੇਨਲੀ ਹੈਸਕਿਨ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਜੀ ਕੋਈ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਚ ਐਗਜ਼ਿਸਟ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਗਈ ਸ਼ਾਪੀ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਇੱਕ ਬੜਾ ਸਟਰਗਲਿੰਗ broadcast because at this point ਇੰਡੀਆ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਮਿਊਟੀਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਕਈ ਫੌਜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਬ੍ਰਿਟਿਸ਼ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਬਗਾਵਤ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਦਿਨ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਦੇ ਜਨਰਲ ਸੀਗੇ, ਜਨਰਲ ਹੋਰਸਫੋਰਡ। Anyway, so what it was doing, it wasn't doing any good. The audio was choppy, the video was choppy, and but we never stopped our broadcast. The broadcast kept going the way I am doing today, but it took me lots of hits and trials before I actually around 80% mastered this.
It certainly tells a story, Paul. You got to remember that you just look at 1 year ago, you took the effort in order to struggle through something you had a vision of achieving, right?
Yeah.
So the message there and loud and
ਉਮੀਦ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਨੂੰ ਪਸੰਦ ਕਰੋਗੇ।
certainly
ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਅਸੀਂ
certainly hold on and make sure that you continue with whatever you've started, right? Don't give up.
Absolutely.
Don't give up.
And many people had an active role in helping us do that. So when I use this set that you're seeing on the screen here, one of my client, he called me and he said, "Oh, I thought you said you wanted to be close to people." I said, "Yeah," but he said, "It doesn't seem like you are close to people. You seem like too far away from them."
Right, yeah, with that studio.
With the studio. But I was fascinated with the idea that I got a studio there, right?
Yeah.
But his comment that you are too far for the people, so you need to come closer. So this is what made my whole broadcast change. So after I think couple of hit and tries, I just eliminated all the sides. Their screens, I can show stuff on them. I got rid of all them, and I'm just myself and my little tabletop, which I also took down. So this is how you develop, and I'm so happy that I did that. And this, like you said, does tell a story.
Morning, David. Yes,
you need to get David online someday because he always comes at 11:30.
David starts at sharp 8:30 every morning.
Yeah, I know that. Anyways, thank you very much, Amrit. You have something to say before we call it a day?
Well, just a message to the people. Let's stay in a positive mental attitude in order to achieve exactly what it is we're trying to achieve. Because if we derail from what our intentions are, it'll be a cataclysmic failure, which we don't want. Let's elevate each other and make sure that we're able to continue on the journey in a positive way. Even with what's going on, there will be some resolutions. So hold on there.
Very good. Thank you very much, Amrit. I will see you next Wednesday. Tomorrow we are going to have a senior advocate talking on matters most important to non-resident Indians. He has started coming on our channel from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on every Thursday and talk about the matters very close to the hearts of NRIs. So if anyone has a question to ask him, please feel free to tune into our program and call him right then and there. So till then, I would like to take leave. Thank you very much, Amrit. So we had a lot of discussion today. Like I told you, 5.5% increase in residential properties, tax in Toronto. It may affect you slightly, up to some amount. I think below $300 if our calculations are correct. But like Mr. Sura said, you have to keep a positive attitude. This scenario is not going to last forever. This will end somewhere, let's say in 2024 or start of 2025, when then at that point we might see reversal of mortgage rates and then bank trying to mobilize economy, which it pulled to a halt in the initial days. So hang on there, and things are still going to be better in a short while. It won't take long. And to all those families who lost their beloved ones today, I send my heartfelt condolences. May they rest in peace and you get strength to overcome this biggest vacuum in your life. So tomorrow the program will be 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and we will be speaking with Mr. Sunil Watts, senior advocate from city of Jalandhar in Punjab, talking about matters close to the hearts of non-resident Indians. So be here. If you want to ask any question, you can message me your questions and I will like to ask him on your